iframe. We're limited. The number of iframes are limited. Iframe costs a lot of bits. Okay? Okay. So how can I limit error propagation with p frames?
We introduce some macro block of p.
Yes, we intra-coded macro blocks in p frames. Okay? How do we do that? Remember that we have a threshold, right? Right? We lower the threshold. That means we bias intra-coding. Okay, we lower the threshold. The threshold say if your SAD is above that threshold, you will encode it as intra, because I cannot find a matching plot, right? You lower that threshold, and suddenly a whole lot more plots will become intra-coded. So that helps. That helps. Okay, for example, you have frame n with these blue blocks being intra-coded. You have frame n plus 1 with these another set of blue blocks intra-coded. And maybe you can do something even smarter than that. Instead of letting the bit stream behave in a random fashion, you can try to make sure that these blue blocks are not overlapped. Okay? So that is another smart thing to do. So all these things does not involve any fancy mathematics, right? It's based on tremendous amount of intuition and understanding of how what is the problem that we have to face, and what kind of innovative idea that you can come up with so that you can solve the problem in a very effective. The encoder, I run into problems. That is another, at the frame level, for example. So you can say that frame 3, if the decoder detects that frame 3 has a problem, okay, and it tells the encoder, then guess what the encoder will do? What is the smart thing? What would a smart encoder do for frame 4?
So make it iframe.
You can make frame 4 iframe, or you can predict frame 4 from who? Frame 2. Right? There's no problem with that. Okay? But that would require something like smart encoder-decoder communication. Right? Okay, so that's one of the things that people actually do. Now, other tactics would be something called scalable video coding. I don't think we spend a lot of time on that. But scalable means that you code video by layers. Okay, so say base 1. Okay, say a layer. The base layer is layer 0 or layer 1. Okay, the first layer is called base because it contains the most vital information of the video. Okay, then after that you add the next layer. The addition of layers 1 and layer 2 gives you a much better video. That is called layer coding or scalable coding. Okay, why does scalable coding help? It prioritizes the video data. Okay. It determines, the smart scalable encoder determines what is the most vital, where is the most vital information, and it put it in the base layer. Put it in the base layer. So that you can protect the base layer more. Right? We are the designer, we do whatever we want to do, right? We can decide that we protect the base layer more, and we protect the next layer less, and then we don't protect the next layer at all. Suppose that you have 3 layers. We protect layer 1 with a lot of redundancy code, with a lot of techniques that we talk about. We protect 2 very little, and 3 we just let it go. If it happens to get there, great. If it doesn't happen to get there, okay. We can just use 1 and 2, okay, for the reconstruction. So protection of the base layer is critical. Other layers are useless if the base layer is lost, because it contains the most vital information. The way you do reconstruction is this. This is the base layer. You do P, so intra-coded, predict, P, prediction coded, so on and so forth. So, and then this is the enhancement layer. So the addition of this and that give you a very high-end video. And then you take this and that, get another high-end video. This is the low-end video. Okay? Low-end means lower quality, but it's still watchable. Okay. So that's called layer coding. Other techniques is, for example, multiple description. We talked a lot about it already, so maybe I'm gonna go through this very quickly. One very simple way to do multiple decoding in a very effective manner, okay, in practice is this. This is the interleaving idea. Okay? All the red blocks are grouped together into group 1. It will be encoded separately, sent through a separate channel. Okay, or a packet. You can think of all the red blocks get grouped together into one packet, or one group of packets. All yellow blocks get grouped together into another packet, or another group of packets. All the green and all the blue likewise. Okay? So here I generate 4 descriptions out of one image, or one frame. Okay? Then guess what? If I receive 1, 2, 3, and I'm missing 4, what am I gonna do? If I receive 1, 2, 3, and I'm missing 4, I interpolate. I do error concealment. So my decoder is a smart decoder that applies error concealment. Okay? What if I lose 3 and 4? Can I still interpolate? Yes, I interpolate up, down. I don't interpolate sideways. I interpolate up, down. Because I get red and yellow, right? So I interpolate up, down. Well, obviously the quality will not be as nice. But hey, you're losing half of your data. What do you expect? Right? What do you expect? As long as it doesn't look really, really bad. As long as it looks reasonably okay. Now, we actually have, I don't know if I have it in this set of slides, but my group has techniques that I lose 3/4 of the data. And you can still see that. Okay? Might not be the prettiest letter that you've ever seen, but it's okay. You can still recognize that, okay, this is a person. Okay? It's a woman, and I can tell you for sure that it's Lena, because I've seen Lena so many times already. I have my correlation, matching correlation techniques somewhere in there. So the joint decoder estimates the lost blocks from the received blocks, and this interleaving scheme can be applied directly in the time and space domain as well. Okay, if you think about the partitions for the next frames, you can try to do something similar. The entire idea is to make sure that you have data to interpolate. Okay? So this is, oh yeah, so I have this, okay. So this is the case where I receive everything. Then I receive everything. Then B, receive 3 out of 4. And then 2 out of 4, and then 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. And just interpolate from the red, for example. And you can still get this. Barbara, this is 4 description, looks absolutely beautiful, right? 3 description, the PSNR might be low. 28 is considered low. Anything below 30 is considered, there might be some problem with quality. Okay? But as you can see, good interpolation techniques will lead you to very visually pleasant, although the PSNR can be quite low. And then, even with 1 description, it's still very, very clear. You can still tell that this is Barbara, not Lena. Right? You can still see nose, eyes, and mouth, and everything. Okay. So that's another technique that people use all the time with multiple description is the concept of nested quantization. Okay? Nested quantization means you design your 2 quantizer for the 2 description in an overlap manner. So if you only receive this description, this is from description red, okay? where should I reconstruct? Maybe in the middle of the intervals, right? So I have these red reconstructions. And if I only receive the blue, then I reconstruct it in the middle of these blue intervals, correct? What if I receive two guys? What if I receive 0, 1, and 1, 0? What if I receive two descriptions? So I receive 0, 1 for the first description, right? Then what? And then I receive 1, 0 from the second description. What can I say? I can say that my data doesn't belong here, it doesn't belong there, but it will belong in the overlap region. So where should I reconstruct? Middle of that interval. That is called nested conjugation. Very simple idea. It works beautifully.